Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol. Now you guys know me, I do love a good Mini. I have my R59 JCW Roadster with a stage 2 tune, 270 horsepower. Then I've got my F54 JCW Clubman standard tune running 306 horsepower, 450 Newton meters of torque. But today I have a very special Mini, an iconic Mini. Today I've got my hands on the Mulgari ICON2 Warbird, Mulgari's development car. This, my friends, I think this is one of the most special F56 Minis ever. Now I've put my two cars back in the garage so we can focus on the ICON2 Warbird. Now let me just give you a bit of backstory to Mulgari and the Icon series. So these were really the brainchild of Benjamin Sunners, and this car is now owned by a friend of mine, Alan, who worked with Benjamin at Mulgari. And the thinking behind the Icon series was really to take what was already a very good car, a Mini JCW, to use BMW certified parts and then to make it, if you like, OEM plus. Better performance, better handling, nicer interiors, and be able to sell them with a full BMW Mini warranty from a BMW Mini showroom. And this was their development car. And this car was actually bought as a used JCW, and then they spent some £49,000 on developing this car. And then what they learnt from this car, they then, if you like, pared back, and that's what became the ICON2 series. So this car, this is a serious bit of kit. Now, just to explain the teeth and the name Warbird, originally this car had the most fantastic wrap on it to make it look like a World War II fighter plane, hence the name Warbird. It's still got elements of that. If you look on the roof, we've still got the big roundel and the camouflage wrap on the roof, and Alan kept the teeth because why wouldn't you? But this is actually Alan's wife's daily. But under the bonnet, and in terms of the suspension and the brakes and the interior, it's absolutely everything you could possibly want from a Mini. It's currently running just a smidge over 320 horsepower and has been GPS verified at 175 miles an hour on a runway. So it's properly quick. It's a 6-speed manual. We're going to take it for a drive in a little while, don't worry. But basically it makes a great noise. It spits flames out the back. But what I really love about it is it's, at first glance, if you ignored the teeth, pretty kind of standard. It doesn't look too garish. Let's have a quick wander around the back and talk about the special things happening there. Now, much as I loved what this car looked like with the full Warbird wrap, I think now it has a subtlety that hides the car's performance. From a distance, you would just think this was a standard JCW F56. But what's beneath the skin and the performance that's beneath the skin is far from a F56 JCW. Let's have a chat about the map. So the map was created by a guy called Gerald Morton at Tweak Performance. It is a custom map, and the brief from Mulgari was to have the very, very torquey low down power delivery, if you like, quite different from what you'd expect from a highly tuned turbocharged car. They didn't want lots of turbo lag, but they also wanted that high-end performance. I haven't driven the car yet, but talking to Alan, that's definitely what we're going to experience very shortly, is a really torquey, punchy low down, and then once it gets going, and once you get higher up in the rev range, apparently this car properly lets rip. It's got a custom sports exhaust as well, and this hot exhaust sticker there isn't just for show. Apparently flames do come out. Whether I'll be able to get those on camera today with it being so sunny, I doubt. But I love other little touches like these 3D printed Mulgari badges and the ICON2 livery on the side there. It just sets the car off beautifully. I think this particular colour is lovely. The full dechrome, this isn't a sort of stick-on dechrome like I did on my F54, that is painted. So the details, and that's especially on the inside, it's the details you want to look out for, because the inside's very, very special. Now, at first glance, you may well be forgiven for thinking, it's just a normal Mini interior, right? But it's not. So the entire interior was done by a company called D-Class Engineering, and they're based in Cobham, and they're the guys that do the interiors for MSO at McLaren. That's all I need to say. Because when you start looking at the little details on here, first of all, you've got this lovely Alcantara wrapped flat bottom steering wheel, but it's little things. You know, you've got a little bit of 3D printing in here, and there's even Mulgari on the actual instrument behind the glass. These seats, although to start with, they're actually very similar to the seats in my JCW Clubman, but these side bolsters are much wider, they hug you. You've got little ICON2 graphics on them. The Alcantara work, the cross stitching is all so beautiful. It's a really quality interior in here. And then obviously you've got things like Prototype, which clearly didn't go down into the customer cars. So if we think about the ICON2 series, as I said, this was the car, 320 horsepower. They threw absolutely everything at this. And then they pared everything back for the ICON2 cars that were sold to members of the public. They ran at about 280 horsepower. They clearly didn't cost £75,000 like this car. But they were fully warranted by BMW Mini. But enough talking. I've wanted to drive this car for such a long time. You know, as a Mini, there are certain Minis you kind of want, especially modern Minis, that you want to try and get your hands on. And this, for me, is definitely right up there. So let's get some cameras set up, take it up the road for a drive. And I've got some big boy brave pants to wear, because I think it's going to be quite special. Okay. Here we are out in the ICON2 Warbird. So first things first, I need to put it into sport mode. Obvious. Oh, we've got pops and bangs, and also I just need to put dynamic traction control activated, because the map is created for that. And then, well, then we can start to enjoy the car. The shifter is so tight and so close between the gears. I'm just going to warm into the car. I guess the challenge whenever you're driving a car like this, because I've got my Clubman and I've got my Roadster, you approach it and think that you are familiar with it and think you understand the car. But I don't understand this one. I don't think it's going to bite my head off, but I do need to pay it a little bit of respect, because I've heard some great things about it. Now, it should be rev matching on the way down, which is quite cool. So here we go. Oh my god! Yeah. Instant impressions are, it's very torquey low down, and it's got a lot of go. And it's got a lot of go that I'd really want to access on a track, to be honest. Now the ride's going to be pretty firm. I've got some major stiffening going on underneath here, and a pretty firm, stiff suspension setup. So I'm not expecting a great deal of body roll, but I am expecting quite a lot of, you know, stiff handling characteristics, much like my Roadster, I guess. But already, man, this car puts a smile on your face. second gear, about 3,000 RPM. It's got a bit of torque steer. Definitely a bit of torque steer. And into this, so this is a higher speed corner. Oh man. Oh yeah. Oh, I've done literally 3 miles, because I know I've done 3 miles because that's my local. 3 miles, I love this car already. This is a proper bit of kit. Proper bit of kit. Okay, let's do it. It's got the characteristics I love about Mini. Very, very darty. And you really do have to hold on tight. Man alive, this thing is très rapide. It's... I don't understand why people don't get Minis. I really don't. And I'm pretty sure that most people who say they don't get Minis have never ever driven one. Certainly never driven a performance Mini before. I know they're front wheel drive, and for some people you can only get a proper sports car or proper driver's car if it's rear wheel drive. I don't subscribe to that way of thinking. Front wheel drive cars have this character, they have this, especially really high powered ones. I mean, whoever thought putting 320 horsepower through the front wheels of a car was a good idea? But it is a good idea. Oh man, and this is such a great bit of road. Oh, goodness me, this car's quick. Straight bit of road. 0 to 60 test. 3, 2, 1, go. Loads of spin. 60. I knew that wasn't going to be a very scientific test at all. I got the traction off. You're going to have to really try very hard to get a decent 0 to 60 time out of this and have mega technique. But oh man, what a car. 320 horsepower, manual 6-speed gearbox. This is what the GP3 should have been. Manual box, high performance engine, brilliant suspension setup. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh man, I want this car in my life. Really badly. Now then, if you know the channel well, you will know this bit of road. It's one of my favourites. When you get a crack out the back of this, it is just so antisocial. But it's the way this thing goes around corners. Yes, you have to hang on to the steering, and yes, it's got torque steer, but it's not as bad as you'd think. I remember a time when they said you couldn't put more than 250 horsepower through the front wheels of a car, and here we go at 320, and its road manners mid-corner are excellent. And you've got to say, you cover the ground at pace in this thing. Oh my god. And this, I think, from a livability with point of view, the driving the 400 horsepower Chili at Lowen the other week, that car was just bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Very track focused, full roll cage. This is more civilized at low speeds, but when you get it moving, when you get the opportunity to open the taps a little bit, it's phenomenal. I mean, it covers the ground as fast as, well, certainly as fast as any Mini I've ever been in, that's for sure. Wow. Got used to the gearbox. It took a little bit of getting used to. The spacing between the gates is quite tight. When you get used to it, it's a lovely change. Auto rev match on the downshift, so that produces the pops and bangs on overrun. But come on, there's only one place I could bring this car. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. So you'd think you'd get a load of understeer. That's why I wanted to bring it down here. It doesn't understeer. I don't quite know how it's dealing with putting the power down mid-corner like that. What a thing. Now, I've bought many cars up that little bit of road, and that's by far and away the most impressive, because the whole point about having lots of power through the front wheels, the bit that you worry about is not being able to tap into that mid corner because you'll get understeer, or because the wheel that's not loaded up will spin up. Not in this thing. There's a lot of stiffening stuff in here as well. There's strut braces and some underneath the car. Sadly, I can't get it up on ramps, but underneath the car there's been a lot of work done to stiffen this car up. And when you stick it into that kind of really aggressive cornering environment, it comes to the fore. My goodness me. And I'm comparing that to the Roadster, and the Roadster, I think, from a handling point of view, with its coilovers and quaif diff and so on, I think it goes up that hill climb pretty well. But this thing, this is on another level. I'm going to use that quite a lot on the channel from now on, I think. Wow. Well, there you go. Safe to say, this little Mulgari ICON2 Warbird has blown me away. And it's such a shame that Mulgari are no more, or certainly not in the guise they were when they made this. It was such a good idea, such a good concept to kind of take that amazing car that I love so much, the JCW, use BMW Motorsport certified parts, and just take it to that next level of driver engagement and enjoyment and oral pleasure and fit and finish. Sensational, absolutely sensational. So yes, as a Mini owner, it's only taken me 5 years to finally get my hands on a Mulgari ICON2, and wow, am I glad I did. Alan, thank you very, very much for letting me play with the Warbird. A day I will remember for a long time, actually. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film, guys. But from the simply awesome Mulgari ICON2 Warbird, I'll see you on the next film, guys. You take care. Drive safe.